I hear a lot of people discussing what's the best microphone to use. Honestly, it's a lot like asking Michelangelo what was his favorite type of brush. It's just a tool. But what frustrates me is that some people aren't even using the tool correctly. You can use the best brush, the same one that Michelangelo used, but if you hold it backwards, it's not going to work well. Hi, this is Tom Schwab with Interview Valet, and I just want to give a basic rundown on how to use a dynamic microphone. Now, first of all, people are going, well, what's a dynamic microphone? There are two types of microphones. One is perfect for a podcast, the other one is perfect for a guitar. So, a condenser microphone is one that picks up all the background noises. It picks up the nuances of the guitar, the nuances of the room. If you are in a perfect studio, maybe you could use a condenser mic. But if you're like most of us that have background noises that just want our voice to come through, then you want a dynamic mic. Now, what is a dynamic mic? The best way I can explain this is from that great movie, Brother, Where Art Thou? Do you remember the Soggy Bottom Boys? Whenever they sang, they would, what's called in the industry, eat the mic. So they would put their face right up against the mic when they sang. And this was important because there was a lot of background noise. And if you were singing, you had to sing right into the microphone. That, my friends, is a dynamic mic. And that's the kind of microphone you want to use on a podcast interview. Now, you see, I've got this nice one up here, $400 Heil PR40 microphone. It's not the one I'm talking through right now. I'm talking through the ATR 2005 USB microphone. It's the same one we send to all of our clients. And here's what it looks like out of the box. It comes with a little stand, comes with the microphone. There's a cord for the USB, which is what most people use. Or if you've got a mixer, which most of our clients don't, there's also a cord for that. I love it because it fits in the basically what looks like a little pencil case. And I put it in my backpack whenever I travel. Remember those good old days when we could travel? And I could set it up any place, just get a good Wi-Fi signal, plug it into my computer, and be ready to go. It wouldn't pick up all of the background noises. Now, while it is plug and play, there are certain things that you need to do to set it up correctly. The first one is called being in the plane of the microphone. A lot of people struggle with this. Remember, this is a dynamic microphone, so you need to be close to it. Now, you don't need to be so close that it's right in front of your face, but you don't want to be way back. And early on, I struggled with this. Nobody taught me how to use a microphone. So I'd come up and I'd answer the first question like this, be really into it, and then I'd lean back and I'd ask the next question like this. And if you ask me about a book I was reading, I may look over at my bookshelf and I'll talk about this one. Now, if you're watching the video, you understand what I'm doing. But if you're just listening to this, you'd be like, did he just leave the room to go get a book? You want to be consistent in distance from the microphone and consistent in the plane of the microphone. Always keep talking to the direction of the microphone. All right, so that's one thing. The other thing that's not plug and play with it, as you see this, it's got a little blue dot on it. I love it. When it plugs in, when it's got power, the blue dot comes on. But that doesn't mean that you're being heard. There's a great switch on it. It's a mute switch. Half of them should be sent in the off position. Half should be in the on. It seems like about 90% gets sent in the off position. And it's one of the biggest problems that people have. They start using it and it's in the off position. So really easy. Just cycle that. Once it's actually set up there, I never change it after that. If you look at the bottom of the microphone also, there's really four things here. This is for if you're going to a mixer. Most people don't use this. You can put your headphones right into this. This is great because now you're hearing exactly what you sound like. There's also the connector for the USB that goes right in there. And then here is the gain volume. So if you're a soft talker, if you're a little bit farther from the microphone, you can set that And most of the time, once you set it once, you're good to go. But a lot of people, when you're first doing the microphone check, watch the little green bars. Whatever program you're on, is it Skype? Is it Zoom? Is it a Squadcast? Any of those, you'll usually see, where it gives you how many bars and how loud you are. You don't want to max it out all the time, but you don't want to just be barely being picked up by that. Other things to check. When you first come into any podcast interview or anytime you're using it, do a quick microphone check. You can do this with all of the platforms where it'll record you and play it back to you so you know you sound good. Another thing that you can do for the podcast host is just say, "Hey, can you hear this?" And just scrape the microphone. You'd be amazed how many times I'll reboot my computer and it picks up the wrong microphone. So you want to check that every time. The other thing with the difference in these microphones, this one, it's got the boom arm to it. It's also got something called a shock mount. So if I tap on the table, if I'm typing, it's not going to go straight to the microphone. When you use a little tripod like this, it is going to. So let me give you an example. If I pick up the microphone and set it back down, it conducted through the tripod into that. So you want to put it where you want it and just leave it there. The other thing, without the shock mount, if you start typing or tapping on the table, it's going to come through on there. So you want to make sure that you sound great. But remember, that is a minimum. That is the basis. They're going to judge you on your content, but they'll never get to your content if you don't sound great. So please invest in a quality microphone. It doesn't have to be $400. It can be $100. The ATR 2005, great microphone. During COVID, the price has really gone up on them, but you can find something like that. Just look for a dynamic microphone. If you go to a podcasting conference, remember those? A lot of times they'll have all the different microphones set up. You can see what works for you. Think about your surroundings. Think about how you want it set up. Do you want a microphone on your desk all the time, or is it something you just want to put in your backpack? No matter what microphone you end up using, just make sure that you use good technique, because people are going to judge you on how you sound. They're going to compare you to the host, and you want to make sure that you sound as good as the host. Nothing ruins your credibility more than sounding like you're calling in from the bathroom or that you're calling in from prison. So make sure you sound great. Make sure you get a professional microphone and make sure that you know how to use it correctly.